Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Coug on the Clock. I am Austin Samuels, joined by
Preston Horgan.
Today we got a super awesome show for you guys. We're going to be talking Cougs men's basketball, wrapping up the season. We're predicting how far they can go. Some NFL free agency, MLB Lockout, talk about how disappointing that is. And then lastly, talk about the USFL, which is starting back up here in a little bit, and their top players. Let's hop right into it. All right, so for our first topic, we've got the Cougs men's basketball season. Right now, I'm curious, what do you have as a grade? Like, how would you grade the season for the Cougs if you had to give it a grade right now?
I'll give it a B. It's
You
an
give it a B?
improvement from last year, but there has been some disappointing finishes, obviously
Definitely.
versus Arizona State and those two USC games. I felt really crushing losses. We could have won those. But, you know, we're improving. We're a program on the come up. And I'm really excited to see what Kyle Smith does here in the next couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd probably give it a B as well, just because, I mean, this is the best season we've had in probably like a decade, honestly. We're on pace to win more games than we have since like 2011, I think, after Klay Thompson left. So we've been pretty good this year, right? As you said, we've missed out on a couple of big games. The biggest thing for me is how much we've struggled in one-possession games.
Yeah.
0-6 in games decided by 3 points or less, and a couple of those games could have been really, really huge. I don't know, man. This team, I feel like, is lacking an offensive finisher, but nonetheless, the season as a whole, I really like it. Big improvement. And with that, curious to hear, Pac-12 tournament coming up this coming week in Las Vegas. Where's your prediction of how the Cougs do? How far do you think we can go?
Well, I think they make it out of the first round. I think, you know, they're most likely to play either Utah or Cal, which they've both beaten. The question is, can they beat a USC or UCLA in that third seed? The issue with the Cougs, too, is that they play to their competition, so they'll play up to USC and then they'll play down to an ASU.
Definitely.
So it's about finding that consistency. It's about playing great defense. And it's about finishing those games the last 2 minutes in which they have struggled with this season.
So where do you think? Like, do you have like a
I'd say we win.
like a round where you think we're
I think we get bounced in the second round.
Okay. Yeah, so for me, I personally have got a similar, issue as you do. I feel like we're probably going to be able to hopefully take care of business against Utah or Cal, which is looking like it's who we're going to play. And then, odds are we take on USC or UCLA, both really, really tough schools from LA. We've been 0-3 against them this season. I mean, yeah, I know what you mean, how we play up or down to our competition for sure. I feel like the biggest thing for us in Vegas is we have to bring our own energy to that arena, because in all honesty, there's not going to be a lot of fans there for the most part, and not going to be a ton of Cougs fans, so they're going to have to bring the energy. I'm probably going to predict us to lose in the quarterfinals, as you did in the second round, but nonetheless, I think great season as a whole.
Yeah.
So moving on to our second topic, we've got NFL free agency, which is just about to get started. Going to be really exciting. Kind of weird just with no NFL things going on. We got the combine going on, which is super exciting. But Preston, talk to me about what your biggest moves in free agency that you think are going to happen are.
Well, I think the number one free agent who will hit the open market is J.C. Jackson from the Patriots, one of the best corners in the league. And I think if a team wants to make a splash, such as the Niners or the Seahawks or the Chiefs, he should be their main target.
Interesting. I personally don't think J.C. Jackson, I don't think the Patriots going to remotely let him hit the open market, because, I mean, in the past we've seen, the Patriots organization has been willing to pay defensive players. They haven't really been willing to pay offensive players, especially skill position players around Brady for all those years. But they've spent money on defense, and I feel like they're going to be willing to spend it on J.C. Jackson, but it'll be really, really interesting to see where they go with that. But who else you got?
Chandler Jones.
Chandler Jones.
Had 10.5 sacks last year for 6 fumbles. He's another great, defensive player if you're looking to make an addition to some place like the Broncos maybe. You're looking for a pass rusher, a young team on the come up who need, a pass rusher and then also a quarterback.
Yeah. They definitely need a quarterback.
In that division,
I would say, Chandler Jones, incredible year for him for the most part. I will say 5 of those sacks came against my Tennessee Titans in week 1, which was depressing to say the least. However, great player, great pass rusher. I'm not sure, honestly, where I would have him going, but I can definitely see the Broncos as a destination for him, for sure. But, the 2 guys that I have targeted that I think are going to make big moves this year in leaving is I've got 2 receivers. The first of which is the best receiver on the board universally is, that's going to hit the open market most likely, right? Because we know that Devontae Adams and probably Chris Godwin are going to stay with their respective teams. However, I think Mike Williams might hit the open market. And honestly, I can see him going to one of 2 teams, both of which desperately need a receiver, either the Cleveland Browns or the Chicago Bears. I think both teams would way overpay him. They would have to overpay him to bring him into the fold, but I think both those teams really need a good number 1, and I think he could be that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last guy that I've got is Allen Robinson of the Chicago Bears. I think he's leaving.
Definitely.
I personally think he's pretty fed up with, Matt Nagy's offense after all those years. And as much as I hate to say it, I think I see him going to the Colts.
Wow.
In Indianapolis. Yeah, I think it gives the Colts a legit target and helps that offense out big time. So moving on to the MLB Lockout. Now the season is officially postponed. What are your thoughts on that, and how long do you think this lockout will last?
Well, I think he was really telling that they canceled the first 2 series instead of delaying them. They could have easily, if they were close to a deal, they could have delayed them a couple weeks.
Right.
But instead, they've canceled them. First time since canceled game since 1994.
Wow.
So I think Rob Manfred and the owners are playing hardball, showing they are willing to cancel games. And, the question is, when do we get baseball? Is it in May? Does baseball really want to compete with the NBA Finals in June?
Yeah.
So they should, start. If they want to have, time to themselves, they should get a deal done soon.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. And I think, honestly, this is really bad, for baseball as a whole. Just because, I feel like I don't want to say that the sport is dying because I don't believe that it is. However, viewership has been a problem, maintaining.
The average age of a fan is getting up there.
All that is going in the wrong direction over the past couple of years, and I really don't think this helps out at all, right?
Not a good look for the sport. Not a good look.
Not a good look at all. And, people were looking forward, that baseball fans look forward to, the beginning of April, end of March every year, right, for baseball to start again. And that's, such a big thing. And, like you said, I think, I'm predicting that games start May 1st.
Wow, May 1st.
Maybe in between May 1st and May 10th is where I've got it right now. But again, that's really tough because that's right in the middle of the NBA playoffs, which are probably going to get more viewers and, better ratings, just to be honest with you. But, where do you agree with that prediction? Do you think?
Yeah, I say somewhere. I think the games-wise, I think they play a minimum of 100 games. If not more, probably a lot more. I don't think.
Hopefully more.
We're not going to have a 162-game season.
Definitely
we know that now. I think baseball players have to wake up, and the owners have to wake up. Say, they're the 3rd most popular sport in America. They have to accept that, and they have to realize, we got to grow here, and the lockout does not help, growing fan share.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely not. Lockouts obviously do not help grow fan share for sure, but. Not a good look at all. I place the majority of the blame personally on the owners of Major League Baseball, but
and not Rob Manfred.
Rob Manfred as well, but I feel like the majority of the things I've read and heard are about the owners trying to stab the players in the back, just in general. So
now to a sport that will be played in April.
Oh, yeah.
The USFL is back, baby.
Yes. The USFL is back. The draft just happened about a week ago. And now that we've got the teams, we're going to tell you our top 5 players in the league. So let's start with you. What do you got?
Well, my number 1 player is Shea Patterson, first overall pick. He's the quarterback of Michigan, for all you college football fans, if you remember. And he will be playing for the Michigan Panthers.
Oh, yeah, hometown team.
Yep. Number 2 is Daryl Holland. I think he's got a great explosive running back from Kennesaw State. He will be in the Philadelphia Stars. Number 3 is Carlo Kemp, D lineman, again, out of Michigan. Sort of an in-between guy. You know, he might, hopefully if he has a great year, he might get signed in the fall to an NFL team.
Yeah.
Another cornerback is Delrick Abrams Jr. of the Tampa Bay Bandits. He's got, big size, from Colorado. He's got the speed too. And then number 5 is Eli Lamar Rogers, who is an ex-Steeler, had a big game. One time had 6 catches for like 100 yards. He's a proven NFL veteran who's 29 years old. And I think he could be a real star receiver here in the USFL.
Yeah, I've got 2 of the same guys on my list. Of my top 5, I've got all 5 being skill players. I mean, that's what the people want to see, and that's what we're all going to see, when we're watching them on TV. Number 1, I've got Jordan Ta'amu of the Tampa Bay Bandits. Jordan Ta'amu was absolutely playing out of his mind in the XFL in 2020. Great player from Ole Miss. He led the league in passing in the XFL. I really like him. I think he's got a great offense as well. Number 2, I've got quarterback Kyle Slaughter of the New Orleans Breakers. He played both at Southern Miss and Northern Colorado in college, was signed by the Broncos, played in the preseason. He actually played really well, threw 3 touchdowns and no picks with a 125 passer rating in the couple games that he played for them. I think he's going to be really solid. Then I got Eli Rogers, like you had at number 3. For the Tampa Bay Bandits, so a weapon of Ta'amu. Like you said, yeah, he had 600 yards on the year for the Steelers back in 2016. I think he's a great slot receiver, and he's a great route runner, and I think he is going to be big in Tampa. And then number 4, I've got B.J. Emmons, the running back for the Bandits, so I think the Bandits are going to be maybe the most explosive offense in the league, it's looking like. He's a good short yardage runner, had 6 touchdowns for Florida Atlantic back in 2019. And then lastly, at number 5, I've got Shea Patterson of the Michigan Panthers, hometown guy from Michigan, first pick in the draft. Had a pretty good year at Michigan his senior year, but can he live up to the hype? I don't know. We'll find out.
Kickoff is April 16th, so I'll be watching.
Tune in, yeah, man. It's going to be really, really fun to watch the USFL football in the spring. Yeah. But once again, thank you guys for listening and watching another episode of Coug on the Clock.
Make sure to follow Wazoo Sports Network on Instagram, Wazoo Sports Net on Twitter, and follow Cable 8 here on YouTube.
And have a great rest of your day, and most importantly, go Cougs.
Go Cougs.